The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Talk. I'm Wendy Stewart, your host with the most every Wednesday, and always happy to spend my Wednesday night with all of you. I hope you're all having a really great week. I'm loving the fall. I know I told you a million times, I really am a summer girl. I'm all about the sunshine and dyed blonde hair and scantily clad clothes. I'm just kidding. But I love the fall. And the fall is so busy. That's one of the reasons I love it. There have been so many events going on. And I want to give a shout out. I went on a party cruise on Sunday that left from Manhattan, given by a company called Brut, B-R-U-T, with 2 dots over the U. I found this on Facebook, and I didn't know anything about them. Obviously, I'm not in that loop. Well, yeah, I'm not in that loop because there were only 4 women on the boat. But the music was just unbelievable. The DJs were Abel and Dan Darlington, and anyone who knows me knows I love to dance, and I often go out and the music is just like, and I leave the dance floor thinking, is that all there is? This completely did it for me. I danced for 4 hours straight with some of the most handsome men on the face of the earth, not wearing a lot of clothes. No, they had some clothes on. All right. Anyway, moving right along, I had a great time on the Brut cruise. And then, of course, I Googled them and found out that they have Palm Springs coming up. They have a new party happening in Houston. And it was really, really so much fun. So speaking of fun, we're coming to you here from New York tonight, but you all know I'm part of Triversity, the LGBTQ Center in Milford, Pennsylvania. And here's what we have coming up. Our Fall Foliage Festival in Port Jervis, New York, is going to be on this Sunday, and the hours are from 10 to 5, and Triversity will have a table there. And you can personally come by and say hi to me. Please do. And I'll give you a little something for free. I'm just kidding. Well, we have giveaways, and you can find out more about what Triversity does. And if you're not a member on our mailing list, and if you just know us from Facebook, you can sign up for our mailing list. But there's going to be a bunch of us volunteering from Triversity. So please come by and say hi. Sunday's supposed to be a gorgeous day. Saturday night, you will find me at the Forestburg Playhouse. Paige Turner, who I love and adore, is performing there. And that show starts at 8 o'clock. I think doors open at 7 o'clock. You can also get dinner. It's a really, really fun evening. Prior to that, Catskill Pride is giving their afternoon tea dance from 3 to 6. So again, this is Sullivan County. Triversity is in Pike County. We're real close to each other. And if you're finding yourself in the tri-state, upstate area, we have a whole lot going on. Also, this Saturday afternoon, Triversity has our hike. We leave at 11 in the morning. It's called Traipsing with Triversity, and we'll be going to Childs Park. I don't know if I'll make it there at 11 because I will be at Rock Bar in the city the night before. Oh, I got to tell you, how I keep it all straight is beyond me. But you know what? I work hard and I fly right. And I have tonight, my guest tonight is one of the most hardworking people in drag. Our guest tonight goes by the name Novaczar, the Empress of the Galaxy, and I added in a master of drag artistry. Novaczar is timeless and flawless. A little bit Leigh Bowery, a little bit Boy George, with a smattering of the 80s in there. Novaczar also has a weekly show. Her own show is at the Duplex, which is so great because we met, it was a couple of years ago. And I love when someone has a vision and they're able to make their vision come true. Well, Novaczar has a lot of talent that also helps. So put your hands together for the one and only Novaczar.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
That you're here. I wish we were like all in person, but you know what? We're living in a virtual world.
Exactly. It's all good. Happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, that is so great. You know, the last time I saw you in person, I want to say we did Evan Lawrence's LGBTQ Pride Show in Jersey City. Was that 2 years ago?
I think that was last summer.
Not this past one. It was the one before because I remember the location. I was trying to tell a friend of mine who gets lost all the time how to get there, and I gave up. But that was my first time I ever set eyes on you. And I have to confess to you, I was completely intimidated. The hair, the makeup, and the costuming. You know, I'm from the Bronx originally. I've been in the drag world for forever, but it was like, oh my God, Wendy, you better step up your game. Look at this one. And you were so nice and so talented. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that. Audio, little. Yeah, audio. Yeah. We lost your sound there for a sec.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're perfect. What happened? Poltergeist?
Who knows? There's spirits all around. So
yeah, there's spirits all around. They show up on this show. I have had the most incredible. Nothing has flown off of the shelves. Although on your shelves, I'm seeing wigs behind there. Please just let a wig fly off and slap you silly in the face. I would just die if that happened. But it's so good to have you here. You have accomplished so much. Let's talk about some of the awards. You won out the Get Out Award, Entertainer of the Year.
Yes, I sure did. That was such a surprise to me. And so it's just like a lovely accomplishment that happened that I didn't even know was in my radar or something that could even happen for me. And I remember that night, and I didn't even know that I was nominated. I didn't know about the award show. Like, I knew what the Get Out awards were, and I know about the magazine, but I was so locked into my own world that it wasn't something that I was paying attention to. So when that happened, I was so caught off guard in the best way. And I think that's what makes it so special, because it's not something that I was striving for, or something that was in my future that I was I want this to happen. So when it did, it just felt what a blessing from the universe. And just to be recognized, it was just it still feels really special and kind of unreal.
I love the Get Out Awards. I did my first one for them as a presenter, I want to say 3 years ago. Was that, which year did you win?
This past year, 2025.
So we were over at the Dickens, right?
Yes.
We climbed up a lot of stairs. Yeah. It really separated the ones who were in shape and the ones who weren't. But I was, of course, there that night with my co-host, Tim Moss. And, of course, Eileen Shapiro, my press agent, works with Mike Todd at Get Out. And that was a beautiful, beautiful award ceremony that night. I was so thrilled that you won. And now, hearing from you that you totally didn't expect it, because I'm sure you saw there were a lot of the people, we all know each other or whatever. We're all from New York nightlife. But when I hear someone get an award that didn't expect it, that's humbling.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just didn't think that. I mean, of course, I believe in myself. You know what I mean? I think that in order to make it in this city, you have to have that in you. You know what I'm saying? Just to be an artist who wants to succeed in some way. But I just didn't think that I was at this level to where I could be titled Entertainer of the Year of New York City. I just didn't really think that I had made it to that level yet. So I think that when this happened, it was kind of like, oh no, you are at that level, and like I need to start owning it.
Yes.
So yeah, it was cool.
And it was exciting. And if you look at the list of people, the other people that won in every category that night, that was just so cool. I can't wait to see what happens next year. I love being a presenter at these award ceremony. The Glam Awards. You were at the Glam Awards.
Yeah, I won Best Door Goddess a couple, like I think in 2021.
I remember you winning in 2021, and you weren't on my radar yet because sometimes I go into a club and I make a mental note of who is the person at the door, but it's way different than when you see them on stage and they're, standing out doing their thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you look at, you came here in what year?
I moved here in 2018.
Okay, so that's amazing. We're at 2025, and it's really been, I have to say, a straight shot up for you. What I was about to say, whatever possessed you to get into the drag world in New York, but what's your story, Morning Glory?
So I started musical theater when I was like in 3rd grade, like super young. I think I was like 10 or like 9. And I just was like super bit by the bug, and I did musical theater through middle school, and I went to an art high school for musical theater, the Governor's School for the Arts in Norfolk, Virginia. And I trained there for 4 years, and that was like those 4 years were really intense for me, but the training that I got at Governor's School was so unmatched when it came to like all things musical theater. And a lot of the things that I learned at Governor's School back when I was in high school, I use today in drag. And like, I think one of the main things is how to be professional and how to work with other people, and how important it is to make sure that the people that you're working with, you're nice to, and, like you're on time, and you're trying to keep the energy up, because that's how people want to work with you again. And I think that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to longevity, when it comes to any sort of career. And then I went to college for musical theater, and about halfway through college, I was getting my BFA in musical theater at Columbia in Chicago. So Sasha Velour had won RuPaul's Drag Race season 9. And that is the moment where I was like, oh, drag is what I want to do. And drag is what I need to do.
What was it about Sasha Velour that spoke to you?
So before I knew who Sasha was, I thought that drag was just female impersonation, there's nothing wrong with that. Drag is female impersonation, but drag is also so much more, and can be so much more. And up until that point, I didn't think that existed, that was possible. So when I saw Sasha be so authentically creative, theatrical, and very androgynous, and just really do her own thing in this way that I've never seen before in my entire life, it was just overwhelmingly inspiring. And it felt like this artistic awakening where I realized that everything I love about musical theater, I can do in drag, just like Sasha was doing.
I love that.
She just like, yeah, go ahead.
What an epiphany you had at that moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Really incredible. And I want to give a shout out to RuPaul's Drag Race, because when that came on the scene, a lot of us knew Ru from way back when, from Wigstock, right? And Ru really made it hugely. But, I have to tell you, and we're going to talk about the flack and the pushback and the negativity in the world of drag. So, Ru took her own path and really went very commercial and made drag, and I'm going to say it, just mainstream. And there's probably people that are going to hate me for saying that, but you know what? Now more than ever, what a blessing, because that's what we need. We need that out there. And to your point, there are so many different kinds of drag. If you study like the history of drag, about lip synca, about, there were so many different kinds. It's interesting to me that a lot of the drag performers that have come up the same time as you, they're really great backgrounds in musical theater. They can sing. I came out of the days where people lip sang, they couldn't sing, a lot of them, most of them. And the other thing that's impressive is your emphasis on being on time, showing up, and being easy to work with. That's like, whoa. I mean, that's definitely how things are now. But seriously, if I go back like 25 years, although there are drag performers, Sherry Vine is impeccable, hardest working girl in the drag world. And it's very interesting watching drag evolve. And then you come on the scene and you've got all this magic and fantasy that you bring with you. What made you realize that you could be your own brand of drag, which you are? What made you realize you could own that?
I think, I mean, yeah, like I said, like Sasha Wheeler was definitely like that moment for me. But I think what really started to happen was seeing people's reaction to what I was doing when it came to my drag, and slowly seeing the opportunities that I could create for myself, or the opportunities that I was able to get while I was in drag. And seeing, I mean, one of the things I love about musical theater, when I'm able to really do what I want to do, and I'm able to artistically not only fulfill something for myself, but also for someone else, like an audience member, and seeing that connection that we can make as human beings. And something that I love so much is connecting with somebody else, and maybe they're having a horrible day or a horrible year or whatever, and they come to see me perform, and it just changes their whole outlook and their whole mood. That to me is so priceless and so magical. And I think that moment was really made me think, okay, like there is something here, and I have something to offer to the world of drag, to the world of artistry. And that to me is just like so special.
Oh my God, it totally is. The performance that you do, it often very feminine, inspired. Do you see yourself as a leading lady? Like when you were doing musicals before you got into drag, did you embrace the leading lady role? Like Charles Bush, I know, does.
Yeah, so you could not be more spot on. I view Novaczar as a leading lady. And when I was doing musical theater, I was told by men in power, by directors, by producers, by casting directors, you are not a woman. And even to this day, I get in arguments with teachers and with other drag queens, and they say, you are not a woman. You don't know what it's like to be a woman. Therefore, you should not be singing or trying to act like a woman in, commercial musical theater, which breaks my heart, because first of all, it is called acting for a reason.
Thank you.
There is in no way am I trying to take away roles or opportunities from women. I just think that me as a non-binary person should have a place to be able to take a whack at what women are able to do. And so that's another reason why I started drag, and something that I loved about Sasha, because I view Sasha as a leading woman, but Sasha was able to twist it in her own way and make it marketable. And so that was inspiring to me, because I was like, oh, like if I want to be Elphaba, from Wicked in drag, and I can sing it and I can act it and really pay homage to it and not like make a mockery of it, then why not? And I just realized that in drag, people might try and stop me, but it comes so naturally to me that I've kind of gained this certain amount of strength in order to say, well, screw you. That's not, it might not work for you, but it works for me, and other people believe in it too,
Oh, absolutely. And, we're talking about playing a role here, right? I just saw the show Gallus at the Little Island. Do you know about that show? It's based on Maria Callas.
I don't think so.
It was amazing. And of course, the lead was male, playing Maria Callas. Every single role in that was cast against gender. It was, the talent would have blown you away. They could all sing opera through the roof. And it made for such an entertaining, not making fun of, but entertaining show. and it was sold out. I hope they bring it back again. I was about to say it was groundbreaking, but if you study the work of Charles Busch, and I know you know who Charles is, and you've seen Charles' shows, or John Vaccaro in the Ridiculous Theater, you know, the roles were always cast against gender. So it really is interesting to me that in college that they were so small-minded that no one could have a bigger picture of what your capability, or even some of the other people that were in your school. You need to have a bigger picture, right?
Yeah. And I mean, also, like, when you think about Shakespearean times, men played the women roles because women were not allowed to be on stage.
I know this,
So
right?
it's crazy that, like, me as a non-binary actor and drag artist get still to this day in 2025, almost 2026, gets pushback for wanting to be put up with other women for leading lady roles. And again, it's not that I'm trying to take it away from them. I just want to be given the same opportunities as them, because there's not enough for non-binary people like me, you know?
No, there's not enough. But if this helps you to know it, I do castings, and a lot of the castings that come down the pipe, specifically when they put in what they're looking for, they will put now non-binary, and there have been a lot of them. So I have to believe that maybe going forward things will change with, you know, within our theatrical world. Listen, where it is going to change and where the pushback is going to come from is going to be from theater. It's going to be from the arts. How did you get so adept at the style of makeup that you do?
So I've been doing makeup for about 11 years now. And when I was 18 and I met my first drag queen, her name was Naomi Black. And I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and that's where I met her at this club called Ambush. And there was another queen called Cameron Fox. And there was another queen, God rest her soul. Her name was Kiara Queen. She passed away a couple of years ago. But Kiara, her makeup specifically was so just on another level than any of the other queens in the scene at the time. And I got close to her, and she helped. She let me like watch her get ready. So I would watch her techniques, and then I tried to start my own thing. And just literally every single night when I was in college, I would practice my makeup, and I would do trial and error. And then when I saw who Sasha was, my makeup for a very long time looked exactly like Sasha's. Not as good as hers, but it was resembling what she was doing. And then during the pandemic, when I had all the time in the world,
Right.
And with the help of YouTube, I just started to really hone my craft. And really, a lot of makeup to start with is just figuring out what skin texture you have. Is it oily? Is it dry? And making sure that you know what products to use that will be copacetic with your skin to make sure that it works well for you. And then just practice. I know that sounds so cliche, but it's true.
No, it does, because, you know, I went into your Instagram and I just started looking at all the different looks that you can do. It's really amazing to me. It's impressive that you could learn that from a YouTube video. I just don't have the patience. Every time that I've sat down, my friend Tony Homeperm, who you probably know is all over TikTok. Tony Homeperm does incredible looks and, you know, does them on TikTok. And I just don't have the patience. I look at what you do, and it looks like you stood in front of an airbrush and everything just flew on your face perfectly and just landed exactly where it's supposed to. I really do believe you still have to have a certain kind of talent to be able to do this. And I look at you and I wonder if you could do that for other people as well.
One, I wish that I could just like do something with airbrush. It would save me a lot of time. But I have done makeup for other people. It's a different skill though, I will say. I think if like, you know, like I said, like with the makeup that I do on myself, like I've done it for 11 years and it's just at this point, it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
So I think that if I really tried to like do it on other people and I did it for long enough, I'm sure I could master it on some level. But it's not something that I'm like actively pursuing, but I have done it. I did a professional production of A Christmas Carol last year in Virginia Beach with one of my old directors, and I did the makeup for the Ghost of Christmas Past. And that was so special for me because it felt like I was able to not only give back to my community, but also like do something in theater without being on stage, but still combine what I love that I do today. So yeah, who knows what the future holds? But it's cool that like I have that in my wheelhouse if for whatever reason that was to come up in the future.
Really a huge talent that you've been blessed with. And I love looking at pictures of you because every single one is different. They're all like paintings. And I'm like, oh, Novaczar needs to do a coffee table book. I'm big on coffee table books. You have to know that. But with each and every look, and then the how-to, I would love to see that. So I want to show your current show that you sent me the video for. Is it the Duplex every Wednesday night?
Yes.
And it's called
Unseen: A Cabaret of Love, Hope, and Survival.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of questions after this. Juan, could you please play the video for us? Thank you.
I don't know why I'm frightened. I know my way around here. The cardboard trees, the painted seas, the sound here, yes, a world to rediscover. But I'm not in any hurry, and I need a moment. The whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways, the atmosphere is thrilling here as always. Feel the early morning madness. Feel the magic in love making. Why everything's as if we never said goodbye. I've spent so many mornings just trying to resist you. I'm trembling now. You can't know how I've missed you. Missed the fairy tale adventure in this ever-spinning playground. We were young together. I'm coming out of makeup. The light's already burning. Not long until the cameras will start turning, and the early morning madness and the magic in the making. Why everything's as if we never said goodbye. I don't want to be alone. That's all in the past. This world's waited long enough. I've come home at last, and this time we'll be bigger and brighter than it. So watch me fly. We'll know I can do it. God, I saw my hand from shaking. Has there ever been a moment with so much to live for? The whisper conversations in overcrowded hallways. So much to say, not just today, but always. We'll have early morning madness. We'll have magic in the making. Why everything's as if we never said goodbye. Yes, everything's as if we never said goodbye. We taught the world new ways to
Just incredible. Every moment, every nuance, every emotion. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have so many questions. How did you put this show together? Obviously, you thought, but this video that I just saw, it's just absolutely riveting. You can't take your eyes off of you for 1 minute. Tell me who you worked with on this, or if a lot of this was you directing it.
Yeah, so there is a photographer / videographer from Argentina named Jonas. I can't think of his Instagram at the moment, but it's in the description of the video. And he is incredible. And that song is As If We Never Said Goodbye from Sunset Boulevard. And so I went to the studio and did a recover of it. And I booked the space and, created the look and everything. And then together, he kind of directed me a little bit, scene by scene and kind of like moment by moment. But a lot of it was just me, acting and feeling how I was feeling in the moment. Just acting it as if I was, Norma Desmond.
And the role of Norma Desmond. You were cast in the role. You were living every minute of that role.
Yeah. So we collaborated together to create that.
Wow. It's a brilliant collaboration. The video was absolutely beautiful. Now, if people your show is on Wednesday night, so I guess you're gonna, when you finish here, you're gonna sashay and hightail it out the door.
Literally.
Share with us a little bit about your show.
Yeah, so my show is called Unseen, a cabaret of love, hope, and survival. It's at the Duplex. I've been doing this show for about 1.5 years, every single Wednesday upstairs at 10 p.m. And literally my show is just the cultivation of pretty much like everything that I am as a drag artist. I put up a set every week, a curtain rod. I have a neon sign that says Novaczar. My bartender handles my music, my lighting. There's a lot of video elements in my show as well. And I lip sync, and then I also sing. I do about 12 to 13 numbers, just me, every Wednesday, that are mostly sung live. I sing probably about like 7 or 8 songs, and then the rest are lip synced. And it literally just, I think of material that fits into the theme love, hope, and survival, because that really is like if I could describe my life and my career and my journey in 3 words, those are probably the 3 words that I would use. So it's just like the Novaczar experience, and I like to talk about it as a theatrical art exhibition kind of situation. And it's not like your typical drag show. It's definitely very theatrical. And I'm not afraid to do ballads like that make people cry and make people think. And then I'm not afraid to,
great. That's
do
you
like
to the party. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I'll, switch to like Britney Spears and like lip sync her. Because I want people to go on a journey. And I always say, you might know some of the numbers, you might not. Just have an open heart and open mind when you come see my show. And I promise you, you'll be touched in some way and you'll have a good time. You just have to trust me as the artist, and trust the vision that I'm trying to portray.
So this is definitely, and I'm a definite to come see this. So you're 9 o'clock on Wednesday nights?
10 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that because this podcast is always, 7 to 8. So it always has to be after. But yes, you have me chomping at the bit now to come into your show. I love that you do all those numbers. And, you're like in a residency at the Duplex. Talk about somebody, making their dream come true. Now, you had another show that you had done.
Yes. What are you talking about specifically?
It's one of your live shows. And I remember reading about it. I know it was before you did this one. I can't remember the name of it right now. How I Got Here. That's it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That was so long ago.
Bury that. I don't know. Like I couldn't come up with the name and you couldn't remember doing it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that was, I think in 2019. Yeah. That was when I first got to New York City. And I just was super ambitious and just, I basically did like a tour, of the boroughs. And I asked like bars in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, and in Queens, if I could use their space to put on a cabaret, kind of like what I do now, which is really I forgot about that. That's wild.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
believe me, I remember everything. I'll be your reminder.
Yeah.
You just came here and I'm going to put on a cabaret. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, to me, it was just my way of showing people who I am and like getting to know me a little bit and what I do as an artist. And I've definitely now that it's, years later, I've really refined the material that I do and like the shows that I put on. But yeah, that was just my way of like, if people wanted to know who I am or just inviting people that could potentially book me to come see what I do. Because I just felt that, I've always been told if you don't feel like there's an opportunity for you, create your own. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So that's what I was doing.
Neither do I, but I have to admire the fact that you could come here, and let's talk about that. Did you get pushback, blowing into New York and, hey, I've got a show? What was that like for you? And how are you embraced or not embraced in the drag community?
Yeah, to this day, I still get pushback from people, whether they're a drag queen or whether they're people in nightlife. Yeah, I mean, I used to live in Chicago. That's where I went to college. And before I left there, a big majority of the scene really didn't like me, because I was so ambitious and because when people see someone like me who is trying everything they can to be noticed or to create an opportunity for themselves, they're very, very threatened and they take it the wrong way and they take it as narcissistic and egotistical, which, to be honest, like, in order to make it in some way, you have to be a little narcissistic, meaning believing in yourself.
Well, you have to believe in yourself and, look at you do the work. If anyone thinks you don't, a lot of people I've met, and I'm not going to name names, but I know the best people, but I see there's other people I've met that call themselves drag artists or drag performers, and their minions get around them and say, oh, they're so fabulous. That makes me insane because I know you do the work and it's really hard. How can anyone resent someone like that? It's got nothing to do with being narcissistic. And I guess you could say ego plays a part in it because you want to push yourself forward. But what are you supposed to do? Just sit there and wait to be discovered? Nobody.
Well, that's what they would prefer. They would prefer someone like me to not to either leave the city, or instead their tactics are, let me find the most minute thing about them, and then maybe stretch it and blow it up so that we can use it against them, so that we can make sure that they are canceled in some way. People get really creative these days, and especially with, the presence of social media and that sort of thing. But I've been through pretty much all of it. I've been called some of the worst things you could possibly call someone. And I'm still here. I still have my duplex show. I still win awards. I still get opportunities like this. So, I am a human being, and I'm incredibly sensitive.
Yeah.
And those situations happen sometimes just out of left field and like out of nowhere. And that's when it really kind of throws me off guard. But I have a great therapist.
Right.
And I also do
like, what do
ketamine.
you do to be able to move past this? Because you have every right to go for whatever you want to go for. And you're right. The fact that I read stuff on social media, people will put up things about other people, and often, Novaczar, it's people we know that put it up there. And I'm like, don't write that. Please just don't write that. I don't want to open up my feed and see that. To me, there is absolutely no reason to do that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think keeping good people around you that really, really love you and really believe in you and are going to be there for you when you're having those really low moments and those, as I like to call them, mental spirals because of, the BS that people post or say or do in the scene. And just remember that what you put out is what you're going to get back. So if you are putting out negativity, it's going to come back to you. And if you as much as it hurts that, I've been through so much when it comes to this kind of topic, I am trying to learn. It's not easy, but I'm trying to learn that I've made it this far for a reason. And I think that something I realized recently that I'm trying to implement in my everyday life is that if you can get through the rip currents and the drama and the static of the real world, it's going to make you stronger. And the more that you're able to handle it in the best possible, most mature way, it's going to push you more towards the smooth waters, and it'll just be smooth. And so that's where I'm trying to get to as an artist and just as a human being.
As an artist, there will always be things that happen, right? Like, I'm not even talking about the shade from other people. I'm talking about the show that you get into where you are cast and it closes after 2 weeks. That's going to be there. Okay, that's good. So we don't need the shade. Is the distractions and the jealousy, and it's ugly, And we just I put my horse blinders on. I stick my fingers in my ear and I go la 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 la, and I can't listen to it because it's non-productive. You surround yourself, and I know you do now, with really positive people that are going to give you energy. Okay, that are going to appreciate your artistry and appreciate you and be your friend when you do need a shoulder to cry on. We all need a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just remembering that right now, specifically, like the world's on fire, like literally we are going through some really treacherous times. And, I posted this the other day that nobody is interested in like loving each other right now. And I think that's what we're missing. And when people do things like that, and they act without love, it just doesn't bode well. So I think just remembering that, as cliche as it sounds, love is literally the glue that keeps everything together when it comes to our livelihoods. So just spread some freaking love, because that's what the world needs. And if people are not doing that for you, then they don't need to be in your life, and they don't deserve your energy or your peace of mind, and you should try and save it for the people who do deserve it, because that's how it'll make the world a better place.
Yeah, and that's how it's going to work for you, okay, because it'll lift you up. I have to tell you, it took decades, but I've got decades on you. I created that very world, and it's wonderful. I have an incredible life. I get to perform. I go to some of the most wonderful parties. I meet people that are doing so much to help, not only in the LGBTQ community, but just as humanitarians, that people that wake up every day and want to make the world a better place, that want to bring kindness and love to the people that they talk to. Listen, I believe the time we have on this earth as the way we are now is the time. We've got to make it work, and we've got to make ourselves happy. So I'm going to get on the subject of happiness. Is it hard for you because of drag to have relationships, to have a partner?
Yes, absolutely. Nothing more in the world that I want is to have a life partner. I do believe in soulmates. And especially because I'm a queen, it's really difficult because I find that my drag persona is beautiful. And is attractive. And I think that oftentimes when I'm out and about, people question their sexuality when they're around me. And there's something about the energy that I give off when I'm in drag that is attractive, and people want that, and they're attracted to that. And it seems that when I'm not in drag, that energy is not vibrating as high and the frequency is not as high. Yeah. So it's like the illusion is kind of ruined for these people that might be super interested in me in drag versus out of drag. But I've realized that the right person for me will be able to love me in drag and out of drag, and also realize that Noah, the person underneath my drag persona, is creating Novaczar. And if it wasn't for Noah, Novaczar wouldn't be able to exist. So, I mean, of course, New York City is such a hard city to date in, yes, but I'm not giving up hope.
Right. No. Oh my God. You're so young. You can't give up hope. But, whoever becomes your partner has to understand that Noah and Novaczar are the same person. Yeah. Novaczar is a part of Noah. Okay. If you will, the gilded lily part of Nova. They have to take the whole package. It's funny. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I've heard this from an amazing trans friend of mine, Maria Connor, and her book is called Girl Shock, and definitely read it. And Maria is an amazing pianist. She's writing a musical right now. She works with a lot of the people we know, but I said to her, how did you discover, you were trans? What was it? And it was, she calls it Girl Shock because it was Halloween, and she put on full makeup and a woman's outfit, and all of a sudden she was the belle of the ball, and everyone was attracted to her. Whereas, her alter ego, her boy self, it was not the same experience. That's very interesting to me. And I'm going to tell you why, because if you love someone, for me, it's the essence of the person. Like, people ask me on that LGBTQ plus, spectrum, where do I fit in? I could love anyone on there, okay, without labeling myself anything, because it's the essence of the person. It's not some idea that I have in my head of gender.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not on any of the dating apps or anything like that. And it's rare that I go out not in drag, because I'm in drag so often. And when I'm not in drag, I'm usually exhausted from being in drag. So, I mean, that definitely has a part to do with it. Like, you have to be willing and have the energy to put yourself out there, and make sure that you're in a good headspace to invite that kind of energy when you're not in drag. So it's not necessarily like the biggest priority for me at the moment. No, but you're working. If I meet someone, then, great.
And my producer told me we have 2 minutes left. So I need for you to share with everyone quickly how you got the name Novaczar.
Okay. So when I was in elementary school, there was a girl named Nova, and I liked her name so much because my name is Noah out of drag, and I just thought that her name was cooler and similar to mine. So then one day when I was in college, I was walking by Zara, the clothing store, and I just thought to myself, Novaczar. And then I was like, well, people are going to think I just copied the name Zara from the store. That's stupid. So I literally put my hand up and I covered the A at the end of Zara, and I said Novaczar. And it just like, it was like lightning flash, the clouds parted, like time stopped, and I realized that Tsar is like a Russian leader, and Nova, space, Empress of the Galaxy. It just happened, and it was like, I've never heard that before, and
it's everything
right.
you are, and it was influenced. The fact that it was influenced by walking past. I have to tell you, I'm in love with this story. How do people find you before we say goodbye?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Novaczar, Novaczar. It's also my Facebook and my YouTube. And I'm at the Duplex every single Wednesday at 10 p.m. for my solo show. I also work at Rise Bar on Friday and Saturday in Hell's Kitchen at 11 o'clock as well.
Okay, you have been a fabulous guest, and I would have expected nothing less. I want to get some pictures before we go, so here we go. Okay. I always feel like such a plain Jane next to you.
Oh my gosh. No, you look fabulous. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, darling. It means everything coming from you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I am definitely going to the Duplex. I'm going to reach out to also, hello, Evan Lawrence, and hello, Cecily. If you're both watching, we should all go to the show. There you go.
I would love that. Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Novaczar. Good night, everybody.
Bye.